Okay folks, I had a special requested video. Michael AJ Norris suggested I do a rant on will there be a civil war based on these election results. And you know, 20, 30 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, that would seem like a very extreme or even outlandish question, but it's not now. It's a serious question. Written by a serious Mike Messier YouTube channel viewer, and I'm going to address it seriously as best as I can. The first answer I would say is I hope not, and then the second answer I would give is it's really up to the citizens. It's up to each individual to not have a civil war. And you know, Michael AJ Norris did not describe what he meant by civil war. If he meant a secession of states or a secession of individuals or counties from our country, or just rioting in the streets, either way would not be particularly good. But you know, and when I was driving around recently, I saw a billboard that said an American divorce billboard, and what it was a book. Someone had written a book about the topic of should America split into two separate countries. And these type of things, you know, even 30 or 40 years ago, these would not be considerations, but now they are. So I'm going to implore that we don't split, we don't have a civil war. And what that comes down to is sometimes you have to take the L. Now the loss, the losing. So no matter which side it is, right now, there's obviously more, predicting or complaining or asserting, accusing of voter fraud, election fraud, tampering from the Trump side. I stayed up late last night. I watched Trump's speech at 2:26 in the morning, or whenever it was that I saw it. I saw it live, so whenever it happened, I watched it. And you know, it's one of those things where didn't Trump, even before the last election in 2016, didn't he put the word out for voter fraud or for election tampering, and then he won? So it seems to be a tactic of Donald that no matter what happens, he puts the word out in advance that there's going to be fraud, tampering. Well, if he really feels that way, why is he bothering to run? Because he's such a great American? Or because he wants his branding to continue to feed his own ego? Yeah, and I but I'll say, he's let some people out of jail that were people that should not have been in jail, he's let out. And I'm sure that, like I said yesterday in my rant yesterday morning, 10, 20, 50 years from now, maybe more people will appreciate the things that the Trump presidency has done that don't appreciate it now. But at some point, his followers, you try to give them credit, but even friends of mine, they seem to be triggered or pushed so quickly in whatever direction he says to go. They jump high. So if there is going to be a right wing, especially extreme right wing, and I wouldn't even give those folks, these associations, these militant groups, I wouldn't even say that they're right wing. They're extremists that are nuts, and they get classified, I know, as right wing, but there are plenty of good Republicans that want nothing to do with these militia groups, these superiority groups. So but for them to get triggered, it would not be good. And I know that Trump would, if he was here, which he's obviously not where I'm at, wherever he is with Melania or whoever his wife is this week, he would not, what would he do? Who knows? But I think at some point, DJT, you have a pretty good thing going. You've built up your brand bigger than it's ever been. You can say you were president. You can scratch that off your bucket list. He could go back to Celebrity Apprentice. He could go back to WrestleMania. All these things that he used to do and have fun. He could get another wife if he wants. He could do whatever he wants. Is he even enjoying himself? I don't know. I would not think so if I were him, if I was Biden, Barack, any of these people. I could get it. I mean, they have a call to service, you know, just like I have a call to write my books, to do my projects. These people, at least what we hope is that they have a call to service, to serve in politics. So we hope that that's for the best. But right now, I think it's up to each individual, especially if you end up on the losing side of this thing, folks. It's up to you to be respectful of the process, to not throw a brick through your neighbor's window. Take the loss like a fucking champ. I mean, if you remember in 2016, they're kind of funny. If you look at all those videos of the Democrats or CNN or people watching the results come in and seeing Hillary lose to Trump, there's many compilation videos that are extremely humorous in a warped way. Are we going to see the Ben Shapiros of the world? Are we going to see all these talking head pundits? Are we going to see them reduced to those type of videos for future generations to enjoy? So that's my perspective. You can think what you want. You know, you're welcome to leave a comment. It's a free speech zone. I try not to censor anyone, but you can do whatever you want. As far as the civil war that Michael AJ Norris is fearful of, I hope not, buddy. But if it happens, if there's rioting in the streets, then the best thing that the Mike Messier YouTube audience can do is try to avoid any type of violence, any type of quote protest quote. Because even if the protesters are, quote, peaceful, quote, then you can have another element that comes in and ruins it, meaning rioters. I mean, I try to distinguish, maybe others don't, between a protest and a riot, between a protester and an anarchist. I try to make a qualification. Other people just throw them together, protesters and rioters. You know, a friend of mine who was a staunch Republican, a Pat Buchanan Republican, he used to say that white people, his quote, not mine, quote, white people don't riot, quote. And we'll see. And I think when he used the term white people, you know, at the time, we were talking about some old school stuff, LA riots, Rodney King type of era. So we will see, you know, will these Proud Boys or whatever the fucks, will these weirdos come out of their fucking ammo shop and hit the streets if Biden wins? I don't know. I mean, but it goes back, unfortunately for Trump people, Trump supporters, it goes back to that first debate when they asked him about white supremacist group, and he said something about I don't have the exact quote memorized, Proud Boys stand back and stand down, and it seemed like a commanding officer telling them what to do. So you tell me, folks, if you are a Republican, if you're a Trump Republican, if you're just have an opinion different than mine, if you have more information than I do. A lot of people, friends of mine, they have more information about these things than I have. I a lot of times go by emotion, I go by the eyeball test, I go by the vibe of what I feel is happening, and I could be totally wrong or don't have all the information. I'm not a political talking head. Most of these videos came from me doing Pro Wrestling Rants, and now as pro wrestling is abhorrently boring, I'm kind of going into the world of movie reviews and now political thoughts. And it's not that I'm the smartest, I probably am the smartest guy in the room, especially when I'm outdoors, but I'm not the guy that has all these information, because I don't know if I enjoy politics, but I'll be happy to throw an opinion when requested. And Michael AJ Norris said, Mike, will there be a fucking civil war? And you know, as the great American poet Axl Rose once wrote, what's so civil about war anyway? Use Your Illusion, Civil War, Use Your Illusion 2, 1992. Anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed my rant. Plenty of stuff here on Mike Messier YouTube channel. These rants might lose me some people. They may not agree, but I mean, will we see a compilation video? Republicans react to Trump's 2020 loss, as we saw Democrats react to Hillary loss. Hey, look, I watch all this stuff. I watched the creepy Uncle Joe videos. I watched Joe's history of racism. I watch all the shit. So MikeMessier.com. I'm aware of all the crap. I'm aware of all the garbage on both sides. And if you have more garbage, a friend of mine does a whole wonderful series on conspiracy stuff. He's welcome to link his stuff here. I don't want to expose him. But I mean, I know that there's a lot of things for people to be concerned about. Will we have a civil war? That's up to you. I can't control it. There's only so much I can do. So I can't control if we have violence in the streets. That's up to each and every one of us to accept. Or if you are going to fight, I mean, look, if Trump feels that he's validated to fight the decision, do it the right way, do it the legal way. But I think at some point these judges and these courtrooms are going to say, fuck off. You know, I mean, hopefully they have the integrity, even if they are Republican judges, to say, you know what, we can't indulge in this. We can't abide by this. We have to have a system where the American people feel somewhat in control, somewhat that their voice is heard. And we can't let someone roughshod. A friend of mine, a female friend of mine, mother of children, 3 children, not my children, but her own children, was very suspicious that Trump was not going to leave the presidency. She was up at night, concerned about it, thinking that there's going to be a dictatorship. I tried, I mean, I didn't know. I don't know. We're still in the middle of this thing. Last time I checked, Biden was projected to have 248 electoral votes, creeping up on that magic 270. And we'll see what the fuck happens. So if you're Republican, if you're Democrat, if you're independent, if you're disillusioned, I was trying to watch the Joe Rogan podcast last night, to be honest with you. I couldn't watch that much because he had a panelist that didn't vote. It was Joe Rogan and 2 guys that didn't vote. And I'm thinking, what type of assholes is Rogan putting on the air? I mean, Rogan, if you want someone to talk to, I'll talk to you. But I mean, why are you putting a couple of shit for brains that didn't even vote on the air to talk about this process? This is a bigger deal. So there you fucking have it, folks. We will see what happens. MikeMessier.com, Mike Messier YouTube channel. If you like this video, if you like the view, like, subscribe, share the fucking videos. Do your goddamn part to help the Mike Messier YouTube channel grow. I do this for you. What do you do for me? MikeMessier.com.